So hackers, we're going live again for the third time today, but it's a very important day here. I want to introduce you to one of our gun traders in chart hackers. It's Degen Dave. I know some of you guys have seen him on my show a couple of times, but he's an absolute weapon. And I think he's got to the point where it's time to actually have his own show for you guys. And I think this is a very important moment for him because he's got so much alpha to share, not only in hackers, but with the rest of the world. And that is you guys. And I think it's very important that you finally get to meet him and you're going to see a regular show from him. What he's going to do for you guys is absolute banger swing setup. So I'm going to let him talk a little bit about that. And then we're just going to get straight into the stuff. So guys, welcome. Obviously all the hackers that are here, good to have you. All the new faces, guys, you're in for a treat here. Okay, let's get right into this. And I'm obviously not going to let you get away without hitting the like, hitting the bell, and hitting the subscribe. Okay, so do that. Okay, now, it's not my show. He's going to take the wheel. Okay, talk to me. Who are you? What's going on here, bro?
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, no, excited to be here. Got some nerves going on here, but, you know, I translate that to excitement. But definitely grateful to have this opportunity to share some alpha with you guys on a weekly basis. So next week I'll be at the Bitcoin conference, but I'm bringing my stuff, my studio stuff. So don't worry, I'll be able to continue on with the alpha there. So, but yeah, I've been doing trading for quite a bit of time. Actually almost quit multiple times. I've been down in the dumps, been liquidated a bunch of times. And, you know, a few years ago, I found Crypto Banter and was following, you know, different things that they've had, the free, you know, I love the fact that Crypto Banter always has free content and free, you know, free opportunities, you know, and that's what I saw. I saw an opportunity. There was a crypto school, a sniper school. It was free. I got involved and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it another shot. And crazy enough, that was the turning point for my entire career. I ended up turning a small amount of money into a big amount of money. I ended up taking part of that and starting into the Bybit competition for Crypto Banter. Ended up getting into the top 3, decided, hey, you know what? I need to go to the Bitcoin conference in Florida to meet these guys, let them know, like, hey, I'm the guy in the top 3. Ended up winning the competition and just started collaborating with Crypto Banter. I've been working with Dylan closely for quite some time. And yeah, we started the Chart Hackers about, you know, 6 months ago, and things are just going and growing. And you know, the exponential growth that we've seen and the amount of success that we've had with, you know, just training and the calls and the signals and the education and the mindset is just really remarkable, right? So, you know, the fact that, you know, I've got a show here is exciting because, hey, where can we be 6 months to 1 year from now, right? I'm excited. So.
And there you go. You fucking nailed it, bro. Okay, so now you know who Degen Dave is. Now let the man breathe. Okay, just take a breath. We're all good. Okay, everyone's fucking good. Now let me just tell you, this guy's work speaks for itself. Okay, and I'm just gonna unleash it. This is his ride. Okay, all I'm gonna tell you is that I caught that WLD short on the 200-day MA, and I'm leaving it there. Okay. Now this is Dave's show. Dave, bro, go for it, bro. You driving?
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. So look, guys, I'm going to dive in. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. And we're just going to try to get as much content out there in the next 20, 30 minutes, keep it short and sweet. But, you know, guys, my background is I run a full-time business. I've got a family. I'm super busy. I go to the gym. And, you know, I used to be the guy that thought, hey, I got to be a full-time trader to make a bunch of money. And what's funny is that I've been able to see a lot of success and been able to do this on a part-time basis. So the idea here is that if you're busy and you got a lot of things going on, you have a busy life, you don't have time to, you know, stare at the screen all the time, you know, that's why I'm here, right? So my setups typically take a couple days to play out. It could take a week to play out. If you guys been following me for some time, you know, I gave a turbo short that took 6 days to play out. And some of these shorts play out immediately, or some of these longs play out immediately. But I'm going to cover a couple of them that I'm looking at for the next week or so. And so just keep that in mind. Some of these could take a couple days. Some of them can take a week, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know, right? But I'm going to give you guys some setups and kind of get into it, right? So, you know, I always like to start off with banter bubbles. You know, what's going on in the market at the moment. You know, for the day, we've got some green. For the week, it's kind of a mixed bag. And for the hour, it's also kind of a mixed bag here. Right. So what are we thinking about for Bitcoin? So I want to cover just my thoughts on Bitcoin. And yeah, we're in all-time high territories, right? Like this is discovery mode. Like what's going to happen? You know, are we going to continue to go up, or are we going to pull back and have some crazy correction? Let me know in the chats, how are you guys feeling? But ultimately, I truly feel like we are going to continue to the upside, right? I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow in Asia Open, but I do feel like we are going to continue here in the midterm, right? So as far as in the short term, what do I think, right? I think based on what's been happening in the market, I think Asia has the best entries, right? So Asia is in all the power, right? Here's Monday Open. They got the best long entries at the moment. And are they going to take some profits, right? Or are they going to maximize their longs and, you know, keep it going for a little bit here, right? So for Bitcoin, I did take a short, right? So I took a short on BitFunded, and, you know, I'm not looking for anything too crazy here, right? I'm looking for a simple 382 pullback. So what I have here is a couple things, right? So if you guys can see this, I'm going to zoom in closely here. But one of the tools that we like to use is called the Anchored VWAP. It's a free tool in the TradingView application right here, Anchored VWAP. And what I've done is I've dropped it here on this wick low. And I really like how it's kind of coming in here into this bullish order block. So this is a bullish order block on Chart Prime. And this is also a value area high, this little blue line here, right? So I've got three things tying in. I've got an anchored VWAP, I've got a bullish order block, I've got a 382 fib, or actually four things, and I got a value area high. So again, I'm not looking for anything crazy here, but I think we will kind of see some kind of pullback into the 109 region, right? And at that point, maybe we have continuation to the upside, but I am seeing some little tiny pullback here at the moment. Again, Asia typically likes to open up. So Asia is going to open here in 4 hours or so. And sometimes the first few hours is the fake move, right? So they'll do something like this, pump it up, get a bunch of people FOMO'd in, and then they send it down, right? So I'm anticipating that potential scenario. Or they might immediately start taking profits, take it down to the 382, maybe even this trend line here. And from there, I'm going to be looking for the reaction, right? And hopefully that reaction will be, support, and then looking for continuation towards new all-time high territories, okay? But that is kind of the bullish bias, right? I know some of you guys have got the bearish bias and, hey, Bitcoin is way too high. We need to come back down to earth, and I get it. But remember, there's probably a lot of people that missed the boat, that didn't get in, that were sidelined, and now they're trying to short Bitcoin at the highs, and that's just essentially fuel to keep it going. So, we'll see how we go, but that's kind of the first scenario that I'd like to see. Now, the bearish scenario, I would say, is that if we come down, we lose the anchored VWAP, we backtest the anchored VWAP, we lose this trend here, then I think we could be coming down to about 106, maybe even 105 territories, okay? And if we see something like that, we're looking at a standard 5% dump, right? So for those of you guys who've been following crypto, a 5% pullback on Bitcoin is a common thing in the space. And what will that mean for the altcoins? Well, there's probably going to be some round trips. There's probably going to be a little bit of a bloodbath out there. But, as far as my view on the altcoins is, I feel like we need to see a little bit of an unleash, right? So you guys can see here on dominance, I have a fib that's pulled from the high to the low. And we have a 618 retracement that's being respected quite nicely here, right? So I'm going to zoom in here to show you guys. And one of the things that we like to do is we like to look at the 0.618 and the 6.5, this little blue zone here, and we call that the hacker zone. So if you guys are part of the chart hackers, you guys already know, but if you're not, that's what we call the hacker zone here. So essentially, I'd like to see a pullback into the 382 region here and possibly the 618. And if we get a pullback down to the 382, you guys already know there's going to be a lot of these altcoins that were ripped to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the Bitcoin view and the Bitcoin dominance. I would like to see some of these altcoins continue to the upside. I'm in majority longs at the moment. I do have a couple shorts in play, like a spell short that I gave to the chart hackers. Also caught that 𝗓𝗔 short, thanks to Dylan, the Lord of Entry. If you guys were tuned in yesterday, we were talking about that setup, but currently in net long. So let's talk about this. For those of you guys that were tuned in on Sunday, I gave a MAVIA and an SCI setup. So MAVIA currently is halfway through the move. I'm still anticipating more of an upside move here with MAVIA. I think 0.2489, you guys can see here, is the target. And as I had explained to the chart hackers, when we get up here, definitely want to take some profits because we could essentially round trip, right? So again, if Bitcoin does have that pullback and we come down 5%, MAVIA would essentially round trip. But I'm looking for the round trip to, worst case scenario, land on this rising trend. MAVIA also has a lot of bullish things about it, right? There's a bullish order block here, a lot of support. So I'm very confident in this setup and the continuation of it. The other one was SEI, right? So SEI was one that I gave on Sunday as well. So maybe you guys took the trade with me and you're wondering, hey, what's going on? Did David take profits or is he out of the position? And what I can share with you is that we have actually broken trend, and I'm going to be adding to my position. Right. So when we break trend, this is usually where you add to the position, and I'm looking for continuation to the upside. Now, the bearish case here with SEI is if Bitcoin starts to roll over and SEI comes back inside this trend here, then this is essentially a fake out, right? And that's probably where I'll maybe close the position fully, wait for the round trip situation, and look for price action to kind of come back down here, right? But if we get price action to come down to that level, I am looking for this rising trend to hold, and that rising trend here is at 0.2250. We do not want to see price action go below that, okay? So that's worst case scenario. However, I am leaning more towards the upside here. I've got a fixed range pull. I've got a value area high at 0.2747. And that's where I would like to see price action go towards next, right? So if you guys are trying to figure out the levels and the numbers, I'm going to repeat it to you again. 0.2649 is the entry, the take profit zone. And we're currently at a level where we can add to the position. And so as a matter of fact, I might as well just do that with you guys right now. I've got SEI opened up on WEX, okay, currently up 79% profit on 10X. And I've got a little bit of capital here to sprinkle on here. And again, we are in an adding zone here. So if you guys want to add to the position, be my guest, right? So we're just going to go ahead and just mark it long and just maximize the move. Okay, so just going to sprinkle a little bit on here, right? And now my average entry is at 0.2284. So it's not compromised too bad. My entry was at 0.226. So sprinkle a little bit on, raise my entry just a little bit. I'm okay with that. And the goal here, when you guys do add to your positions, is you don't want to compromise your entry. I see so many people do 20X, 30X, and then they add to their size, and all of a sudden their entry goes from here to here. And you wonder why you get stopped out, or you wonder why all your profits went away. It's because you weren't paying attention to your leverage and adding, right? And that's something that we cover in the Chart Hackers as far as knowledge and taking advantage of these cool features that the exchanges have, right? So that's SEI. I know that there was some crazy stuff about Cetus, the hack, and like what's going on. I know some people are trying to take some longs and everything else like that. But what I've done here is I've dropped an anchored VWAP from the high, and I've also dropped anchored VWAPs from the current low here. And as you guys can see, if we take a magnifying glass, we are underneath the anchored VWAP. So this is kind of giving me the OM vibes. It's giving me the rune vibes. Can they come back from it? Maybe, but I'm still holding the short. I still think we're going to be coming down. And for those of you guys that are in the short, or you're wondering how low can we go, let me just kind of show you guys on the 4-hour time frame what I'm looking at. Let me kind of clean this up a little bit here. But what's incredible is that the TA on this has been pretty spot on. We've got a rising trend from the all-time lows. I've got a fib pulled from the low to the high, right? So I've got a fib pulled from the 7th of April to the current high, 0.25518. And you guys can see here that we came right into the hacker zone. What a beautiful thing, right? Quick bounce off the hacker zone, 50-day MA support, rising trend, right? So obviously taking a long there makes a lot of sense, but I am kind of getting the vibes that we are going to lose this trend, back test, and come down and visit this point of control in lower level territory. So I've got a huge fixed range pull here. You guys can see value area high is at 0.19, value area low is at 0.07, and we're kind of in the middle of that at the moment with point of control being down here. So I'm going to hang on to the short. Hey, you never know. Something could happen, magical news, and all of a sudden this thing rips to the upside. But as of now, I've taken about 25% profits, and I'm looking to maximize the move. Short and chill.
It's not good news, bro. It's like they got hacked. They got proper hacked, $220 million. I don't know how they're going to recover that. And when they announce that they have, there's going to be a pump. But until then, I think really downside potential here.
Yeah. And what's incredible is that, guys, this idea was given yesterday. We were talking about it on Friday. Dylan gave the he told us about it. He had the eagle eye for it, daily bearish divergence, blue reversal dot. You can see here on the daily with Chart Prime, it told us that it was overbought. There's some kind of pullback coming. And what do you know? what are the odds that it gets hacked during a daily bearish divergence?
Because it was looking super bullish earlier today, and it was breaking through a massive level. And now that you look at it, it almost like orchestrated. And I'm sure James has some views on that too. But like you see these weird pumps up, and it's almost like inorganic. And then all of a sudden that bad news comes. And yeah, it was pretty rough that. Huh?
And guys, that's the thing, right? In crypto, you guys are going to see a lot of fake outs. Get good at identifying fake outs, right? And that's one of the things that Dylan told me this morning when I woke up, is it could be a fake out. We have a massive horizontal here. This was prior resistance, prior resistance, prior resistance, prior resistance, prior resistance. And all of a sudden, we're breaking out of that. And so candle closes are important. We cover this in the chart hackers. We always talk about 4-hour candle close, and it was essentially up here for a short bit of time and had this massive crazy dump. Okay, so that's the update with 𝗖𝗔. I would just say be careful if you are trying to long this, get in, get out kind of situation, right? So let me kind of dive in now and shift gears to what are the setups I'm looking at right now. So GOAT is one that I gave to the daily candle. And, you know, that's just texting, you know, a bunch of text, but I want to kind of verbally explain my thought process with GOAT. This was actually a chart request from one of the members in the group, Tony. Thank you for this request. But yeah, a lot of nice things going on here. I've got a rising trend from the low of the 7th of May. We've got a second touch here, kind of a third touch, but I would say this rising trend should be valid. I've also got a downwards trend line here. And what we have experienced is a break of trend, right? So we had a break of trend a few days ago. And one of the things that's very important to me is the anchored VWAP, right? You can see I've dropped an anchored VWAP from the lows, and I've also dropped an anchored VWAP from the start of this move here from the 17th of May. And if you zoom in here, right, where 𝗖𝗔 was showing below the anchored VWAPs, GOAT is above the anchored VWAPs, okay? And sometimes you'll hear me say all you need is the anchored VWAP, but essentially we're in the entry zone now, right? And again, Bitcoin could have this little pullback, right? And so I'm expecting this trend line to hold. And with this pullback in mind, we could be seeing a 6% dump on GOAT. Okay, so I have a position. I started the position here, and TP1 is essentially going to be these highs here, right? So we can essentially see a TP1 and then round trip. So make sure you pay yourself. That level is at 0.181 for TP1, but ultimately this value area high and this Fibonacci retracement that I've got pulled here from the high to the low. So if you guys want that fib pull, this is where I have it. I have it drawn from the high of the 11th of May to the low here on the 17th of May. And you can see value area high ties in perfectly with the hacker zone. So I'm expecting the hacker zone to be hit here with a little bit of momentum. Again, we've seen a lot of these meme coins have crazy runs already, and GOAT is kind of just chilling, right? So that's what we want to look for, is the ones that have been chilling and haven't had their move yet, right? And then if we get to TP3, which is a 786 retracement, I tell the guys all the time, hey, 618s are great, but 786s are juicier. We've got a bearish order block here at 0.22539. So TP3, guys, is 0.224-ish area. Okay, so 0.221 to 0.22 or 0.23, I would say, right? So we got a 786 retracement, bearish order block. From this point, I would expect maybe we have that crazier, that crazy pullback there. So GOAT is on the radar. The next one is Layer, right? So we tried to take a stab at this guy about a few weeks ago. It made a lot of sense. There was this token unlock. There wasn't a lot of movement after the unlock. We had this point of control. But unfortunately, we took a stop, right? I took a loss on that one. Sometimes my strategy is not always adding more and using the buffering system. It's, hey, if there's an invalidation, get out. But what I've identified here with Layer is that we have a horizontal that makes a lot of sense. I did redraw the rising trend. So before it was like right here, but you guys can see here on the macro, it does make sense to draw it right here. So this is still in play, right? One touch, two touch, and the third touch for that confirmed rising trend. And then you can see here on the 12-hour, we've got spider webs going on. So when you see multiple bullish divergences, we like to call those spider webs. And you guys can see here that this is looking like it's going to go, right? So we're seeing some price action, some good price action on Solana. Okay, this is in the Solana ecosystem. We saw a nice little rally with Jupe today. I think it was like 7 or 8%. Layer is kind of just starting to get the engines revving a bit here, right? It's about a 2% up from the for the day. And so, with that Bitcoin pullback in mind, maybe we just tap the trend. And ultimately, I'm looking for a pop up to this point of control where we've had a lot of confluence, okay? And if we dial in here, I'm going to go ahead and go into the 1 hour charts or 1 hour time frame. right? What do we see? Right, we have a neutral order block, we have a bearish order block here, neutral, and then this point of control. So from this entry now, I am looking for nothing crazy, but 23% move here, okay? And again, I think it's been oversold quite heavily here, and all it takes is just a couple whales to get coordinated into a buying attack, and next thing you know, we'll see this pump out of the heavens, right? So this is kind of worst case scenario, I think, is hitting the point of control. But again, if we can break above point of control, I would love to see the anchored VWAP that's dropped from the all-time highs here. So I've got an anchored VWAP that's dropped from the this recent high here at 3.43. This was on the 5th of May. And, again, the anchored VWAP is sometimes all you need here. And I would love to see price action make its way back up to 140. And if that happens, right, we're looking at a nice little 46% move here. Okay, and keep in mind, I'm kind of going over leverage strategy. I know some of you guys that are tuned in, maybe you don't do leverage trading. And for me, this could be a very nice little spot play, nice little spot trade, right? Where you can get in, 50% pump, get out, right? So layers looking nice. Now, those are the longs that I have in mind. Now I want to bring you guys a couple shorts, right? The one that looks nice to me here is Sonic. So Sonic, we were looking at this as a long. We actually took the long on the rising trend. We took the long right here, but essentially we lost the trend and we had this nice little back test here on Sonic. So let me just kind of zoom in here and show you guys what's going on. On the 1 hour time frame, we've got a bearish divergence with a blue reversal dot, and that printed right here at this price action. So now price action is continued, which to me, it's a good thing, right? That means that this could be a delayed rollover. And again, based on where Bitcoin's at, and if we have some kind of pullback, Sonic actually might be a nice little play here. So you guys can see here that I have a bearish order block here. When you see this red dot on the order block, that's typically a reversal zone. I love how that's tying in with this point of control here. So you guys can see this red line. This is a point of control. We have the 100-day MA coming in here as well. We have the trend here. So it's a back test. And we also have this anchored VWAP from the all-time highs, right? So we have an anchored VWAP. Let me just show you guys where I have that drop so you can drop it on your trading view. But look, I've got it dropped from the candle high. This was on the 20th of February, right? And so this is a macro anchored VWAP, and we might see price action come and tap that and then pull back. So I'm seeing two different plays here. I'm seeing us rise to the this 54-cent region. So if you guys want to mark that in your charts, right around 54.31 is where I'm looking to enter this trade. Again, not too much further for us to see that, and then potentially seeing an extra wick into the anchored VWAP. And so I would say that the entry box would be right here. Well, let me give you guys those levels. It's 0.435 to 0.56. Okay. Now, if we see price action get above this trend and consolidate here in a 4-hour candle close, that is your cue to cut the position. That means there's strength. There's something going on fundamentally. Volumes coming in. These bearish order blocks are just sell orders. Those are getting bought up. But based on like what I'm seeing here, this is looking like a nice little short. Okay. And the next two I have is VELO and Turbo. VELO was a setup I gave in the chart hackers, and it's looking like a short here soon as well. It's kind of giving me the same vibes as Sonic. So what I have here is at 0.0135. I've got a point of control. I've got an anchored VWAP drop from the highs. I have a 382 retracement. And again, we have this loss of trend that we experienced here this past weekend, right? So typically when you have a rising trend, let me just zoom in here to kind of give you guys a nice view here. But typically when you have a rising trend and you lose it, there's always some kind of back test, and then the actual dump happens. So we had that already, and we gave this on Sunday on our Sunday banger session for the chart hackers. But right now we're getting that retest, obviously, with the market being a bullish, the bullish vibes. All these coins that have had a massive dump are going to pump along with it. But again, it's coming into this nice little resistance territory. You can see that the chart prime is giving us a hidden bearish divergence on the 2-hour time frame. And I do believe we have a bearish order block here on one of the higher time frames. Let me see exactly where that is so I can show you guys. Or maybe it was on here. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, 6-hour time frame. So the 6-hour time frame, bearish order block. you know, I really feel like this zone here, if you will, is a nice little short zone for VELO. Okay, so let me give you guys those levels. Just zoom in here, right? So this level is starting at 0.0135. And I would say all the way up to 0.0139. Okay. And, you know, these strategies are like swing trades, right? So I always recommend low leverage. Don't be the guy that's going 20x and expecting an immediate move, right? You might need to do multiple positions, 5x. And once you get confirmation of the move, right? Once we see price action do this and starts to roll over, this is where you crank it up. This is where you raise the leverage. This is where you can add more size. So then you can then maximize on the move down. Okay. So VELO is looking nice.
Emphasize something here for you guys. And yeah, Dave. So Dave, firstly, going well, bro. Okay, you're killing it. You're fucking smashing it, bro. Okay, most importantly, you guys see a lot of degen shit on my show, but you also see a mix of some swing trades and stuff like that. David is essentially a swing trader. So what does this mean for you if you're using lots of leverage? I know he's spoken about again. I just want to emphasize again for everybody, a lot of these setups are not 20x setups. These are low leverage setups. And David's strategy is to ladder in slowly into some hot zones or into some big areas. Okay, and he sometimes lets things sweat out 6, 7, 8% as well, and he's happy to sit in a red trade. So you need to have that type of mindset. If you're trusting the area and you're looking for the big reversals, sometimes you have to sit in a red trade for a while, and David is the perfect guy to teach you guys how to do that. Okay, so don't come into any of these trades with 20x unless you want to get rinsed. It's low leverage and ladder in slowly. Is that a good way to summarize it up for you, bro?
Very good way to summarize it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, but guys, we've got about 5 minutes left. I just want to just share a couple things. And, you know, if we have time, if there's somebody in the chats that wants me to do a chart request, I can do one from scratch or whatever the case may be. But in the chart hackers, I do a lot of chart requests and I go through them for a few hours. And so I kind of want to give you guys a taste of that. But yeah, so like I told you guys, I took a short on BitFunded. I passed the first stage. I'm on stage 2. So this is a $100,000 account. So essentially you can, with a little bit of capital with BitFunded, if you pass a couple challenges, they'll give you an actual account. You know, for this one here, it's a $100,000 account that I can trade with, and they're going to pay me a profit split, right? So pretty incredible. I took the short on Bitcoin. You can see here, I'm up about $1,100 profit right now. And, you know, let's bank a little bit of this profit at the moment. Let's see, let's close like 25%, and let's just do an easy market close here. Cool. So I'm going to make a little bit of profit. And yeah, like I said, I'm expecting Bitcoin to kind of come down just a little bit here. And I'm going to be watching the trade. And again, this is probably just in and out. But if we indeed top out here at 112 and we have a bigger dump, then essentially this will be bigger profits, right? So, but anyways, guys, I just wanted to share with you guys what's going on with, you know, chart hackers and some of these promotions, right? So there's a trading accelerator school that Dylan has here for you guys. So if you're new here, or you're just coming in, you're like, hey, what's going on? What are these drawings and charts? And that just seems too complicated. Well, I used to be that guy. I used to be like, man, this just sounds too crazy. I just want to join a group and I just want to follow signals, right? Just the path of least resistance. But I'm telling you guys, if you can hone in on the skill set, life-changing. I'm telling you guys, life-changing. Don't be that guy that just wants to follow and take signals. Actually take time to learn. And so here we are, accelerator, trading accelerator course here. If you guys sign up, there's a free BitFunded that you will get just by doing the course. Now, you can't just sign up and get a free BitFunded. You got to get enrolled. You got to finish the whole class, and then you guys will be awarded the BitFunded account. So I can't even tell you guys how awesome of a deal that is, right? Don't miss out on that opportunity. I don't know if there's anything you want to add there, Dylan.
No, I mean, right, you're amazing. Okay, so yeah, if you want to do the accelerator course, the link is in the show description with everything else that Dave is talking about as well. It's floating around there for you guys. Are you doing a chart request, bro?
If we have time,
exploded.
Yeah, a request here.
Yeah, go for it. I see the guys are asking about MOODEN and a couple of others, so maybe pick one there out the gates. I think they're screaming in the chats here.
I can't see the chat, so just give me one here. I do have MOODEN, but it's
no MOODEN. It's just been listed. It looks like it's just been listed on. What was it listed on? James is here.
I think it was Robinhood, but yeah, it just went insane. Are you still holding that from this morning, Dylan?
No, and it was 300% up when I closed it, and now it's like
how responsible of you. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, how dare I take profits? What is wrong with me? Yeah,
thing so just went insane from that listing.
but I'm sure the filthy degens that took it with me and Kyle this morning, I'm sure some of them are still holding.
But
so,
it might be a short, right? Normally these listings get retraced.
Well, if anyone's going to spot a short, it's going to be Dave. So I'm going to let Dave have a short for us here.
Okay. So guys, we had this request on Sunday, and we were essentially like right here. And so we called the short on the trend line 618 retracement. For those of you guys that do remember that, I had a fib pull from the top to the bottom. And again, beautiful hacker zone reaction, right? Kind of playing the trend here. But what we had is a break of trend. So I'm looking at a break of trend now. So let's reanalyze this. You know, again, that's why you always want to take profits, because it doesn't always complete the move. You know, we were looking at a potential 44% move in the cards, but hey, we had like 15%, a little up, down, which, you know, you guys should have made a little bit of a profit. So let's take a look now. I've got a fixed range pull. Let's go ahead and update this, right? And what's interesting too is that we have this fib from the top to the bottom, and look at that rejection, 618 rejection. So let's look at the oscillator. So we're on the 2 hour at the moment, and we can see that there's a hidden bearish divergence. Every time there's some kind of exchange listing for one of these guys, there's always a massive rally and then a massive dump. So let's see what we could expect here. Looking at the higher time frames, not really seeing anything too bearish. Okay, so it looks like we had a 10 hour bearish divergence right here, and then we had this pump. So that could be a delayed divergence. Let's look at the daily, kind of in the middle of nowhere. Let's look at the 15. Now I want to see kind of like a bunch of hidden or bearish divergences, hidden bearish divergences. So we have one here on the 15. Let's see what the 21 looks like. Nothing on the 20, nothing on the 30, nothing on the 1, just only the 2 hour time frame. So what typically happens on a break of trend retest or a break of trend? We get that retest, right? So we're getting a 618 hacker zone retracement. We also have value area high on this fixed range pull, right? If we can see some volume up here, right? So let's just say Asia opens up and we get continuation. We're probably going to retest this value area high. So if you guys are in a long and you're wondering, what do I do? Watch this price action. If we can get above 0.279 and, you know, maybe up to 30 cents and then retest and sit on 27, that's a bullish thing here. We could also start tracking some kind of rising trend situation. So we can go here and do that. Right. So that looks good. I like how the point of control is kind of tied in with this trend line here. So let's just assume that we do have this kind of pullback from the listing. That could be the stops, right? This point of control retest. And honestly, that's probably where I would like to really get involved into this idea here. So, you know, I did talk to the creator of Chart Prime, and I was like, hey, what does it mean if there's a bullish order block above? And he said, it just means there's not a lot of sell orders there. So if we can break this range, I don't think we're going to have too much of a rejection here. I think we're probably going to blast through that if we can see some momentum. Okay.
Are we shorting this, bro?
Well, it looks like a valid short to me, but remember, if you're going to take the short, low leverage on this guy first of all, because again, it's MOODEN and it moves 10, 15, 20, 30%, and it doesn't care how you feel or what size or what leverage. My fingers
just accidentally slipped and opened a short as I tripped there.
Yeah, take a short look.
No, it actually just happened now.
I can't tell if you're joking or not, but hey, valid short, bro. Okay. Well, it's pulling back right now, and it makes a lot of sense to reject the 618. I mean, look, guys, we had a rejection here. We had a rejection here. We're at it again. Again, these are neutral order blocks at the moment in the 15, meaning that, you know, people are buying it. So again, seeing this potential Bitcoin pullback, we might get something like this. Point of control, bullish order block, trend, consolidation, and then look for that next leg up here. So if you guys want to set an alert here with me together, I would say 0.244 would be the level to be aware of. We can call it point of control, trend, bullish block. And once price action gets down to this level, if you have Chart Prime or whatever indicator that you have, you know, I would start dialing in on the 5, the 15, and the 30, and the 21, and start, you know, see if there's any kind of like bullish divergences forming there. Because typically, when you have those form on the lower time frames, it then translates to the higher time frames there. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here with MOODEN. You know,
now Dave, Okay, tell me something. Are you doing a session in Hackers later on? You doing one in like 6 hours or something in Chart Hackers?
Yeah, I'm doing one with Trader J in about 3 hours. We have a collab session every other week, and so today is going to be the collab session. So he does a nice Bitcoin analysis. We do chart requests, and we try to find a trade to take together. And yeah, so far it's been great.
Nice. So I see in the chats, the guys are saying, can we short enemy? Can we do all these types of things? Now, I just want to show them WLD because I see Tindo is here and he wants to know about WLD as well. So I just want to flash that chart quickly. And I want to show you guys because Peter's in the chat saying, can we short enemy? So Peter, you on it, bro. And if you take a look at this 4-hour heat map, look how overcooked enemy is. So what Dave is going to do is tee up some kind of short there for the hackers session later on. And you can see enemies overcooked, banks overcooked, FETs overcooked. So there could be a couple of shorts coming on some of the overcooked guys. So maybe maybe you can take a look at that in hackers for you guys. And then in terms of WLD, guys, I had a limit order. We spoke about this on the show. I had a limit order on the 200-day MA. By no means it means we're out of the woods. But I've grabbed that short on WLD and I added a little bit to it there on that second dip. But you can easily get rinsed here. This thing's super bullish and we had a very big resistance band. So you can see my average entry 161. I'm short, and then there's MOODEN there. Okay, so MOODEN running a short there, and I've just opened that now, a small little short. Protect yourselves with a stop loss, guys. Obviously, don't do stupid shit. Be safe. Market's super bullish. Okay, Dave, well done, bro. You fucking smashed it. Okay, so swing trades once a week. It's coming here to you guys on Crypto Banter Plus. Make sure you are subscribed. All these things. You're going to get these setups. If you're busy in your life, you're working, you're doing all these things, you're busy with your family, your kids, and you don't have that much time sitting in front of the charts, you don't want to miss the show. Once a week on a Thursday, you're going to get slammed with alpha for 30 minutes. You're going to have 5 trades for the week, and then you're on your way. Okay, then you're on your bike, and he's your man. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, well done. Any last words there, sir? Till next week.
No, guys. Just my recommendation is be cautious. We're in all-time high territories. We're in price discovery. Anything could happen. You know, we're at the mercy of these whales with tons of Bitcoin ready to just market sell at the same time. So just be cautious in that regard. But at the end of the day, there's opportunities left and right. There's so many tokens that haven't ran yet. And yeah, let's just capitalize on these moves, whether it's up and down. That's why I love trading. We can make money either way.
Banger, bro. And final reminder, everybody, tomorrow morning, 9:30 my time. That is in, geez, I've done a lot of shows, bro. It's like in less than 12 hours, like 11 hours from now. Can I sleep first? But 11 hours from now, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trading against the chicken in 11 hours from now. Okay, I need to sleep because I got to beat this fucking chicken. Okay, cool. Okay, we out of here. Let me find this thing. Okay, Dave, later, bro. Well done, everybody.
Later, guys.